Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Chess and Chat, the business show where I bring on a guest and we talk everything business, everything marketing, and everything entrepreneurship while having a game of mostly friendly chess. This week I have a social video whiz and self proclaimed video geek, Peter, on to join me. So let me just bring him up. Here you go. Do you want to go and introduce yourself, Peter?
Hello, thank you very much for bringing me along for this game. I'm looking forward to it. My name is Peter Wolf, and I am a video content marketing consultant where I deal with anything from idea to setup to content planning and publishing. So I once was a geek and once was a like tech-focused person, but now I'm more into mindset and trying to figure out what works and what not. So pretty much that's it. Yeah.
Cool, very nice. And we did, when we were talking before this, you did say that you are bad at chess and bad at multitasking. So
Yes, I am. Yeah.
this should go
Just to
nice and
bring some
smoothly.
fun along to this show.
Yeah, should hopefully be okay. Right, what I'm going to do then, I'm just going to send you the invite so we can. Hopefully, you should have got a notification there. And
Still waiting for it. I think I have it. Probably. I'm in.
Cool.
Great.
So if you click go, hopefully that should work without problem.
Okay.
I've just got waiting for opponent. Oh, it said you declined.
Oh, shush. Let's
1 sec. I'll do it again.
Okay.
It's
been dropped into random game, but I think
okay.
Get out of it.
That's fine. It does look like as well that the comments aren't pulling into the streaming software, but I can see on LinkedIn Martin Wiskin is joining us, saying looking forward to this. Hopefully I'll have a play with that while we're playing the game to see if I can get the comments to come in here. Are you ready for an invite now?
I am, absolutely.
What I might do, actually, I'm gonna drop it into StreamYard if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think this other way doesn't seem to be working as well. Cool, perfect. So it looks like you are white to start. Let me just bring up the chessboard so everyone can see. Cool, let's go. Seems to all be working good.
Hasn't been ages since I've last played, so it might be a quick match.
No, that's fine. No, I'm not very good either. Don't worry. So the first thing I wanted to ask you about was actually a comment. So you came and watched the stream last week, and you made a comment about people on social media being able to make social videos without showing their face. And I just wanted to ask a bit more about that. And just, is there any sort of tips or any ways people can make social content who are a little bit more nervous about showing their face and maybe want to do it a different way?
Sure thing, absolutely. So it is all about planning. So just imagine, listen to a podcast, right? You don't even see any moving images, but you can get proper content, proper volumes out of it. So it's quite individual. So it depends on what availability, what is the industry, what is your style. But what I always suggest to people who are a bit shy or afraid of going into live with their in front of the camera like we do it now is just to think about the concept first, work it out on paper, and if it works or if it seems worse, give it a try. So you can use imagery, you can use a still image. It can still come across as video on YouTube because you can still upload it even if there is nothing moving on the screen. However, you can also kind of utilize B-rolls, which is easy to get nowadays. You just have a monthly subscription for someone like any of the B-roll sharing websites, which is like stock but for video. And then you can, with the basic editing skill, you can put it over it, or ultimately hire a freelancer who can do it all for you.
I see. Yeah, I get it. Okay, I think the whole getting on in front of a camera is a big point for a lot of people. They're too scared to get in front of the camera, but it's good to know that there are options for people who are a little bit more nervous. And another thing that I think is a barrier for a lot of businesses who are trying to do it on themselves is the editing time.
Yeah,
Is there, how do you value content that has 0 to no editing versus content that has quite a lot of editing? Do you think people can get away with chucking up videos that have pretty much no editing and leaving in their ums and all of
absolutely.
that stuff?
Yeah, basically how I see it is, if you're focusing on value giving, which is always in the content, so it's never on screen or barely on screen. Maybe some people are capable of doing great content by visuals, but if you're focusing on value giving, then what you can get is any way that will make it your content understandable. So voice and sound quality is way more important than image, even if you don't have going back image on screen. And so editing is working well on some cases, but if we are talking about social media content, I think what really matters is your way of communicating your values on based on your personality. What works for you, it probably works for people who like doing stuff that you care about.
Yeah. And are there platforms that are a little bit more lenient for that? So, like, for example, on YouTube, do you have to have better quality, more edited videos, whereas on TikTok you can get away with
It really
the less
depends on the
violence?
market and on your audience. So yeah, platforms are kind of focused on aspects that might the majority of people kind of created over time. If, like YouTube is a vlog platform, as it turned out, but you can also get a variety of content out there without losing anything. And I don't think you necessarily want to kind of narrow yourself down to a platform, because what you can do is build your social brand, build your self-branding, and be yourself and try out different platforms to see where your audience is. And instead of focusing on one too much, you can do like tests. Just create your content first. Don't think about the platform too much, and then just put it on different platforms and see what works well for you. So yes, there are some sites which might favor different types of content better than others, but you can still get away with yours on pretty much any platform if you can find your audience.
Okay. And so you're absolutely okay with people posting the same bit of content across multiple platforms? They don't have to like jiggle it up for each platform,
No, you
in your opinion?
definitely. So it's yeah. So there are two types of markets. One, which is the market that is already on the platform. So they have expectations, they have things that they get used to, but you also have your own market, which you might be able to bring across in different platforms, or even you can also get those. So yeah, absolutely. So you can. So first of all, you wanna test out different platforms for your content to see which works best for you. Then focus there mainly, and then you can experiment with different kinds of materials, design. You can use, so basically you can use long form content, which is something that we do now. We have a half an hour talk. Maybe some percentage of it will turn out to be very useful for some kind of people, for some kind of platforms. So you can use this to chop it up into pieces and then design it. If you have editors in-house or around you, or if you have some editing skills, to upload it to different places at the same time and see what works. So it's always testing, always improving, analyzing what worked for you. And yeah, so yeah, experimenting is good, but you have to focus on creation first.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people get bogged down in the sort of sort of research part before they even get creating. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to know where my target audience are. I need to know what type of content they want to consume and stuff like that. Whereas I'm in the same boat as you, where I think you start creating first, start creating what you believe is value first, test it, and then use the data from those tests to make the decisions, rather
Absolutely. Yeah.
than just trying to research from day one and probably not getting very far in terms of what you actually do. Everyone always shouts about consistency as well, and I think that's a big thing in the social space as a whole. A lot of people get burnt out if they try to go crazy hard for like a week or 2 weeks, and then they're like, oh, okay, actually a new client has come in, so I can't keep going this hard now, and then they just stop altogether. Do you have any tips for people to stay consistent with their scheduling?
Yeah, first of all, there's as a fun fact which we just discovered a couple of years ago after running as video content marketers for years, is that until you don't have followers, until you don't have basically a market that is depends on your schedule, something or someone that is expect you to upload data, you don't really. So social media is quite forgiving, so you can create 10, 20 content in one chunk and upload it on the same day, which will give you advantage because your profile will become immediately saturated with multiple style or multiple contents that you have created. So you don't really want to stress out on consistency at the beginning, because until you don't know what you do or for who you do it for, it doesn't really matter if it sucks. And sorry so yeah, so you don't have to. So basically, you don't have to be crazy about consistency until you are visible on the market.
Okay.
Basically.
So that, I guess if you look at it as stages, you're saying that stage one is get the content rolling and try to work out what works in order to actually get eyeballs on your content, and then worry about the nuances and all of the smaller bits once you've found whatever that gold mine is.
Yeah, do as much
Yeah.
as you can, test out different things, and always ask. Always, always, always ask. The
Okay.
best, easiest thing to do is to ask, and if you have response, then you've got data to work from.
Yeah. Okay. I see. And for those who do want to kick up their video content to the next gear, they're beyond just talking to a phone. Maybe they want a bit more fancier gear. They want a nice backdrop like you've got with some fancy stuff. They need they've got a bit of a budget. What do you think is the most important first purchase someone should make to
Microphone.
upgrade? Okay, so it's always
Absolutely.
microphone.
Yeah, because if your content is beautiful but it's difficult to understand because maybe it's echoey, like sound treatment and microphone, I would say. So if you need to sound good, so people on the train, on the go, can plug their headphones in and can still understand what you're talking about, even if they don't watch their screens or their monitors, or they doing dish washing or something besides listening to your content. So yeah, I would focus on microphone and sound
Audio
quality.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people underestimate, especially people who watch YouTube content. They underestimate how many people put on a YouTube video like on their second monitor while they're doing something, like while they're like in my case so I could be making a website, and then on my second monitor I've just got like a YouTube talking head video or something like
Exactly.
that running. And so yeah, I understand why you say audio is actually more important to upgrade first before the video elements and the visual elements, because you can get away with bad video for longer than you can get away with bad audio.
Yeah, and you don't even have to go crazy on sound quality. So it's nowadays it's very affordable compared to 5-10 years ago. Now you can buy a USB microphone, like something that I use, and it costed about £120, and it still gives me the quality that I require or my audience requires when I do short content or long content or anything that is conversational.
Yeah, I see that. And okay, so they've ticked audio. They've got some better audio equipment. They're in a better environment. Maybe they've put some soundproofing up. What next? What would you say is the next best purchase to upgrade?
The next one, the next big one is light.
Lights, yeah.
Because if you can have the very good camera, which might cost multiple thousands or even more, but if you are in a poorly lit environment, it doesn't give you wonders. So light. So for example, today I'm using a webcam. So this is a webcam with some lighting around me, which again, budget. So I don't spend crazy on stuff like this. But lighting gives you more than lens or camera. Basically, what usually the majority of people thinks is camera gear, and that's the last important or the last one on the list.
Okay.
Even the painting on your wall is more important than your camera, I would say, if you are doing not cinematic based content. So when when we're talking about social media content creation.
Yeah, definitely. I'll give you a minute to think about your the chess moves as well. We're moving
Same
a bit
here.
quick through it.
You can't get lost.
I think people. I've seen many videos now of people turning off their lights to show you what it is like without lights on, and turning it on to just so you can see the
I can do
difference.
that.
And it is a bit like, well, we was actually speaking about, I was going to have a second light here to light up my face a bit more, because my face is a little bit dark in this environment, because I've got, I don't know if I can point, but I've got one light here which is like off to my side, but I don't actually have any light like over this side. So I need to put on, I do have lights, I just forgot to put it on and then realized 1 minute before we went live. And whereas if you look at Peter, and in fact let's bring us up side by side, you can see that Peter has a lot more light on his face, and therefore it's a lot more detailed, and you can see a lot more there. And Martin coming in and saying +1 for a good mic as well. Yeah, I think that's the thing, that if I click on a video and it's immediately got bad audio, like it's got a crackly mic or really echoey room, I'll click off immediately. Whereas if I click on a video and the video is maybe a little bit blurry or not great, I still will stick around and give them a chance. So I do think I'll just put you in check, sorry, to do that to you while we're talking. So yeah, I do think that audio is definitely a good one. And when it comes to actually buying lighting, when you go on Amazon, you can find lights for hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Do they actually make like that much of a difference compared to the like £30 put together yourself lights?
Depends. It's definitely more compact. So if you compare to like a 20-30 pound DIY diffused version to something that I have on the desk, which might have cost about 70 quid from Amazon, and it's on the stand, and it's a light LED panel with a diffusion layer included. So it's convenient. It looks better on the desk because I'm using this as my main working space, and it saved me some space. But if you're going towards the spotlight realm where you do studio lighting and all that, what people are paying for that is quality of light, reliability, and the distance and the power output that they can do, which we don't really have to consider at this stage. So I've seen a big trend on Chinese products getting more and more not just affordable, because they are always more affordable than the professional grade stuff, but they're getting better and closer in competition, in especially in quality. So nowadays you can trust. But the easiest thing to do is always go online, watch some videos about what other people are suggesting you, because that's why content creators creating their content, right? So yeah, there is difference, but it's not always the quality of the light that you see on the other side.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. So we've spoken about audio, lighting, And you say the camera equipment is actually last, and before that, there's your background, like what pictures you have up,
How you
how
design
you
it, yeah.
design it. So ironically, you're talking to me who has absolutely nothing behind me.
You've
So
got a chair behind you. That's part of your background.
yeah, I've got a chair, but so I'm in a place where I don't have much space. So I have to, so like this is a wall,
Hmm.
a weird like cut wall. What tips could you give me to try to improve my background? Because bearing in mind, like I can touch this wall with my arm, that's how
Yeah.
close it is.
You can
What would you suggest?
a string of light. Light is always poppy. It's always giving you the advantage of being visible. Like it's just visual things. Like you can put posters in there. Maybe you can bounce a colored light onto your right wall, like one color from one angle and another color from another angle to make a bit of
Okay.
a dynamic changes into that. Because if I see it correctly, you've got like a part that is jumping out from the street.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. So
yeah.
this bit like
So I would
comes up.
you can see the difference in lighting on different
Yeah.
surfaces by looking at that. So if you put two different color lights that doesn't hit your face but goes directly to the wall, it will give us some dynamic visual appealingness that might make it more interesting. Or you
Okay.
can use your boxed up Christmas lights. That what I've used in one of the interviews, and the client just loved it a lot, and it was an
Oh
easy
yeah,
thing.
I've never really thought of that actually. So you could just use like yeah, could put up some like fairy lights that give
Yeah,
a glow
exactly.
of a certain color up here as well. Yeah, that's a good idea. I do need to think about how to make this a little bit more appealing because I don't have much room to deal with.
Hmm.
But I like that definitely. Oh, okay. I have to make a decision here. Do I take you? Do I take that? Yeah, let's do it. Why not, eh?
Have it swap.
um, yeah, and then I've got to move this. Got to run away. Let's move you there. Cool. So we've done audio has been improved. Your lighting has been improved. Your background has improved. Is there anything else before the video equipment that needs improving, or are we on video equipment finally?
Let me think. So yeah, sound treating, which comes with sound. So you have to make sure there's no echo around your place,
Yeah.
um, and all that.
And is so how let's talk about how you do the sound treating because I think this is an area that not a lot of people know about. So behind you, you've obviously let me bring you
Yeah,
up
there are some panels
full
up
screen
there.
quickly. So you've got some panels along the top, and you've got a sofa which also takes some of the echo away. Does it?
Yeah,
Am I right
it
in
does.
thinking
Yeah.
that? So are they the easiest ways to go? Just buy
So
some
the
sound
first thing
panels.
is not it's not echo. So echo is something that you hear in the open when you have a certain delay between the sound coming back. What we kind of fighting against is reverb, and reverb is when you have a sound that comes from one source and bouncing off the wall, hitting another wall, and it just amplifies itself until it
Yeah.
gets away, distributed in the room. So what you are looking to do is let me think before I go
Yeah.
too far.
Give you a minute to think about this move. This is
Yeah,
a
so you wanna um, make sure to break up the even surfaces, so you don't even need to treat the entire room. So as you can see, I only have a couple of panels, and I do have a wall with similar stuff behind the camera, but those panels up there has kind of removed more reverb than the entire wall in front of me, because they are placed strategically. It also looks good in my opinion, but they were the very big surface flat areas that has been bounced the most sound back, and
okay.
now the room is kind of eating up the sound and not amplifies it as much.
Okay, and I'm afraid I'm going to take your queen.
Ooh,
with my bishop. Sorry about that.
that counts.
This is the problem when you're talking and trying to play
Yeah,
chess at the same
absolutely.
time. You miss stuff
Fair
like that.
play.
Um, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and so for people that don't maybe they don't have the budget to get that kind of sound cards, or they don't really know what they're doing, they don't know how to deal with it. How would you suggest they deal with it? Can they put like bed sheets up? Can you do that? Can you
Oh
put
yeah, absolutely.
towels like that?
She's work. That's true. That's a fair point. But sometimes, so if you flatten that sheet out, it will give you the same problem. So you need
Okay.
to wrinkle it. You need to break up the even surface, so it will just. It's just like with sound actually works very similar to light. So if you kind of standing in straight up in front of the mirror, you will see your reflection because your light bouncing off from your skin coming back from the mirror. And what you can do with sound, if you curve that mirror, you wouldn't see yourself as much clean and nice because the light going in different directions. So that what you want to do with curtains, bed sheets, or anything that is even furniture in rooms can reduce reverb a lot. So if you're empty, you wanna put something to break the even surfaces up that is not visible in camera in a way that makes it not pleasing to the eye, but still sound quality is more important. So
Yeah. And I know some people also put like rugs down and carpets to do the same for the floor as well as the walls,
yeah,
which is an option that people have as well. Okay, so we've done the soundproofing side of it as well. Input part of the audio is now the point where people should look at upgrading the actual camera and the lenses and all of that stuff, or is there anything else they
perhaps
can do first?
perhaps, but the very first thing which is important of all of that we have touched on so far is knowing what you're doing with your content. So planning your content is very more important, because I've been in the situation when I've spent too much effort, energy, and money and time into a scenario that looked good, sounded good in paper, but then it didn't work out because the content that we have created in that environment wasn't the content that people want to watch. So it was pointless. Yes, we can talk
Yeah.
about gear if you like to, but
Yeah, so I think that's a very good point to make. There's you can have all the gear and no idea, and you can have spent thousands on equipment, but if you're
but
not
before
if
you spend anything, I suggest talking with someone who knows more about content creation and planning and get their advice first. Think about it, and when you know why you're doing it, then you will see plenty of options and suggestions on the market that can help you find the right decisions to make your content the way it works out for you, even if it's not the first way that how you might like to see it.
yeah. Yeah, I see that. And if so, when people make the decision to work with someone to get their content up, they've obviously got the consultancy way that they can go. So just talking, they can help. They've got the do it for you way where someone either guides you to record your own content and then
It,
edits it for you and puts it out, or there are some options where it's completely done for you as well, isn't there? Where
so
someone actually records the video on your
I
behalf. And
I think consultancy only valuable and it only worth anything in my head if it shaped towards your needs. So it always depends on the time budget, which is even more important than money at this stage, and availability and market and goals. So everything is possible to a degree that is worth the investment from both parties to go into, because there is a potential high outcome, or um, let me think about the chess a little bit.
yeah,
You're
yeah. So
putting
it's
me
gonna
into That's right.
It's getting a little bit intense now, isn't it?
But yeah, so yeah, options are, yeah, a good consultant should be able to help you starting from your idea to analyze that idea, analyze the market, and see and find best ways how to attack it or approach it, using what is available to you at the moment. Because it's no point planning high budget things until you cannot afford it. So yeah, first do your research, find the right person to you who you can talk to. It can save you a lot of time and a lot of money, for sure. Because the consultant never tell you if they're doing their job right. They never tell you to buy this or buy that until you are not ready to utilize that asset in a way that will make you and generate you more than how much you have spent on it.
Yeah,
in the long term.
definitely. Yeah, that is a very good point. And when you work with someone as a consultant, then what I think a lot of people when they're thinking of video, creating video content, they see it as a time sink. They're like, oh, it's going to take me so much time, and it's going to do this
Mhm.
and this, that. When you're working with someone, is there like prerequisites that they have to be able to put into their content in order for you to be able to be like, yeah, I can help you? Like if someone comes along and says, look, I can give you 10 minutes a month to make content,
Mm.
I assume you're not really going to be able to help them do much.
Time is more valuable than money, I would say, and I see that. So my approach to consultancy is to automate as much as possible of the process, which will start with the questionnaire. So if you have time to fill out a questionnaire now and then that approach is applicable and further usable in a process of making valuable decisions throughout the process, starting from analyzing the ideas and going step by step. So if you don't have a lot of time, so either way, if someone is starting to invest in video, it will cost you a lot time or a lot of money or a bit of both. And the asset that you have more is what you can use to utilize your possibilities, and that's how you should plan, and you should plan together in order to make it work for you. And it's emotional decisions can make and break things, because that's how we buy most of the stuff, especially camera gear at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think I was a victim to that. I got very
oh, yeah,
excited when I started creating
it's always a loss, isn't it?
yeah, I got excited and bought all the gear and then just didn't use it for a little while. Then after a while, I was like, I probably should use this. I've put so much money into it, and it's
Didn't know
hard,
that
isn't
coming.
it? It's hard talking and playing chess at the same time. I didn't when I decided
It's
to make this
very
show. I didn't factor in how hard it actually is to talk and play at the same time. But I'm glad people are realizing it now. That's good. I did another thing that I think comes up quite a lot is scripting versus not scripting your videos. Where
Mhm.
do you sit on that? Do you think everyone should script their videos
Very
like fully,
strange,
or
because yeah, that's a funny question. Because beginning when I started, I was a non-scripter. I was always come up with an idea in the morning, then set up the studio and find ways to do it, because I was fairly experienced on editing. So I thought I will make it on the editing table, but that turned out to be a massive headache. So then I started to experiment with teleprompters and script writing, because I am a writer as well, and that worked way ton better. But again, it introduced new issues and new problems, because we needed to kind of work out a methodology that could work with my team, where I will plan the stuff, but they can also kind of research what needs to be researched. And so every person has their own pace and their own way, but you are much safer and much more able to finish a project if you start with planning and scripting, because you can see where the end is and you can dedicate that time. But when you are, so I've ended up a lot of improvised stuff that I have never used, still sitting on my hard drives for years, and I have no idea where I would use it or not. But it wouldn't happen if I kind of pre-plan and script everything. So for me personally, because I'm not as experienced with remembering stuff and improvise, scripting and reading works way better. But that's not the case for another person.
Yeah, definitely. And I
Like
think
this video, for example, this is very good unscripted concept. The idea works and it gives you valuable assets that you can use, and you didn't even have to work a lot on thinking about what you would say, you know.
yeah, I see that. And I think the idea of scripting people hate as well. They're like, oh, this is already a time sink. Oh, yeah, gonna have to. You
You
made
can
that
use
difficult for
AI
me there.
today to make it
Well, yeah, you can use AI nowadays
easier.
to script as well to make it a bit easier. You can outsource that as well. You could get someone else to write scripts for you if you know someone who's a good copywriter.
Absolutely, yeah. My partner actually deals with that. So she's a copywriter, and based on her shoot. I think that's it for this game. Actually, let's finish it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could win from here. Maybe I can. Yeah. So you can outsource stuff like the copywriting, and I definitely think that if you have certain things that you really don't like, then outsource that first. So if you don't like the script writing
Absolutely,
part
as
of it,
much as you
get rid of
can. I
that
mean,
first.
as much as you can. So what I think is that there's two things that matters is personality. So if you add your personality into it, even without showing your face, what is personality is your decisions. So if you are the one who makes the decisions at the end and that aligns with your personality, you barely, so you cannot really lose. Not like how I would lose this chess match in a minute. Anyway, and the other thing is, so decision making is one, and the other thing is being in control over the decisions, because sometimes we might think that sounds like a good idea, but if you don't analyze that idea before investing your time and money into it, and you are not, you're not sure about the most important answers, which is maybe what your audience likes to see, or why will the final content be valuable for them. So if you don't have these questions answered, then you might just create something that looks good, sound good, and it might give you the advantage that you was wanted, but it doesn't really work on the back end, and you didn't really achieve anything with it.
Yeah, I see that, and I think a good thing to bring up there as well is it does depend what your goal is for that bit of content. If you're looking to get new eyeballs on you, then you need to be giving out lots of value and getting people to like you as a creator. But I have actually spoken to some companies that they just want video content out there to make them look professional so that they can get the bigger contracts. They're not really about getting like tons of followers. They just want to know that if they pitch to someone like Vodafone,
no, you don't have to be.
they're gonna
Influencer
be like,
marketing is so influencer marketing is something that works for that kind of personality, but you don't have to be an influencer. What now?
it is looking a bit dire for you, I'm afraid.
But you don't have to be an influencer to support your business.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is something that a lot of people believe and therefore don't start creating or don't go down the rabbit hole of creating video for their business or for their projects because they think, oh, I don't want to be an influencer. Why would I want to be an influencer? So yeah, that is also true. It is looking pretty dire for you, I'm afraid, Peter.
Yeah, it does.
It's not looking ideal. Okay, there you go.
Luckily, I'm not a just a strategic person, so
Yeah, doesn't matter if you lose here.
Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think you've got one move, and then that's probably going to be it. If you want to finish it up, there we go. Oh, you got another move. You can survive for one more move if you want.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Good job. That lasted quite a while actually. That was about 40-minute game. So there you go. We dragged that one out for quite a while. Is there, so when we're talking about video content, then is there any other factors that you think are a barrier for people that is worth us talking about now? So we've sort of gone through gear, we've gone through scripting, we've gone through goals, we've gone through if they actually need to be the person on the thing. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I think the biggest one out of them all, which we haven't talked about, is the what to make videos about. What could be good for me, and honestly, I don't think there is a chance of you just pinpointing it right away by feeling without any measurements, any proof checking, any seeing your possibilities and your audience and whatnot. So yeah, the best advice on that front is never try to imitate other people. Instead, try to do your stuff, because your personality would be the differentiator between everyone and your content.
Yeah. And I think like getting inspiration from others is fine. Like when I think about when I create videos, I think about, oh, I actually quite like how this person does the transition, and I quite like how this person talks and stuff like that. So you can get sort of inspiration from others, but turn it into your own style rather than just trying to become a carbon copy of them, because that's not going to work, because they're always going to get the viewers over you. And end of the day, any sort of content creation, you are fighting other people for the user's time.
Especially if you start to do someone else's style because you like this guy's style, and you start doing, and just think about how much chance you've got to taking over their audience who have been doing it for years. They have gathered a lot for themselves. So by copying others, it doesn't really give you favor, just burn out at the end, I think. You need to find the differentiator, and the easiest one to find is you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in terms of what to create, there's so many tools out there now. Like mentioned AI earlier. There's AI tools out there now to give you ideas, but the biggest one is always going to be just start creating content, and then you'll see what the comments say, you see what the conversations you start having are, and then you can snowball it from there. Definitely.
And also a combination of personality. So what other people suggest is, if you have so your personality is combined on many different interests from many different parts and triggers and industries. So yeah, might be another doctor who is doing video content for their audience, but you might be also interested in golf. Let's just combine that two and create a content that is unique to your personality. So anyone who's interested in that two things at the same time would be interested in your content, and you will have much easier time know where to find them.
Yeah, definitely. And that's sort of what I did with this show, to be fair. I'm interested in business and marketing and stuff, and I'm also interested in chess. So I thought, why not chuck the two together, and hopefully some people will gravitate to it. Cool. Well, thank you for coming. Where can people find you to see the content that you're putting out and to get more tips?
My main channel is LinkedIn and YouTube, so you probably can see my LinkedIn page. The tag for it is Peter Wolf UK in one word. and everything route out from my LinkedIn profile. So yeah, that's probably the best to have.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming and joining me, and I will be back next week with a different guest. I believe next week I got Lloyd Knowlton from the marketing company Knowlton. So I will see you all next week. Thank you for coming, and see you later. Bye.